It's time now for Hooked on Oregon with your host, Cam Parry and Mark Mattecheck.
We've got a wonderful show lined up for today.
We sure do. It's been ever-changing, but it came together nice at the very last second.
We have a world-famous or nearly world-famous film director, producer, writer with us today.
In the studio,
which will be great fun. Yeah, nobody's ever been brave enough to actually come in studio. Well, we've got a wonderful guest. I am so excited to welcome her to Hooked on Oregon, and she is a local celebrity because she was late of New Jersey and now lives here in Coos County, and she's an acclaimed writer, director, producer. She's done some wonderful short films, which is just an incredible medium. Is because I love short stories, because you're forced to consolidate that characterization, the plot, and everything in just a few pages. And that's what you do on film. And this is Olivia Accardo. Welcome to Hook.
Yay. Hi, guys.
How great to see you. Now, how did you get into film? Was that a driving compassion of yours when you were a kid?
Not so much. I grew up just being kind of creatively inclined. I liked drawing and writing and taking pictures, and when it came to applying to college, I just wanted to find a medium that didn't make me abandon all of them, or any of them, basically.
So you could kind of
I felt
do
like
all of it.
Film involved all of it in some way or another. And now here I am. I'm still making movies, and I didn't really think about at the time how it's one of the harder ones. Because you need
and to break into too.
A herd of humans to believe in your idea for it to even start.
I like that it takes a herd instead of a village.
Yeah, that's right. It's a
that
herd.
Makes sense.
Herd of people and a herd of money.
Yeah. Now you look at my co-host. He'd be wonderful in film. I mean, look at that face. Is the Russian arms dealer, the stoolie in Cell Block 3, or the overly familiar crossing guard, Mrs. Pennybaker? What were you doing at 3 a.m? I mean, he's perfect.
Yeah, and the price is right. Free.
I do write a lot about Russian arms dealers.
There you go.
Thank you.
He has another career.
Yeah, but right when she met me, that's what she said. She goes, "Ooh, you could be a Russian arms dealer in one of my movies."
First thing I said, yeah.
Now, tell us about your very first project. How did you make it happen, and what was it about?
The first film that I wrote and directed was titled Cupcake Bob. It actually got distribution on PBS, and I think it's still on PBS to this day. But it was about something that happened to me personally as a teenager, which was I found a dead cat on a speedboat. And how the whole community had to come together to find out whose cat it was. So it was just this kind of story my parents and I would always share, and we referred to this neighbor as Cupcake Bob because he owned a big bakery in New York City. I grew up an hour outside of Manhattan, and it was just this wacky story, and so I wrote it. It was a 12-page script, I think. And
I love that whole idea of how a dead cat would bring a community together. Whatever. I wouldn't. I mean, that's kind of brilliant in a way. Yes. Kind of what Ivan Reitman, Ghostbusters, he stuff like that. Or going back even further, to the Russians are coming. You remember that movie, the absurdity of the whole thing. I love it. That's neat. And so how was it received?
It did really well. It was my first personal short that I had whole creative control over, writing and directing it. And the fact that it got bought by a broadcast network is unheard of for a short.
Oh, absolutely.
For anyone's first short. So that was really amazing. And I've had my husband's aunt saw it organically on TV once, and she really enjoyed it. And then the credits came, and it said written and directed by Olivia Accardo, and she's like, "What?" Just the fact that people are organically seeing it is amazing, because it otherwise would probably just be a link online. You know,
how fun! Fun! Now, how do you go about making a project work? I mean, taking it from inception to actually getting it viewed.
Being incredibly obsessive and maybe a bit unbearable to a lot of people that love me.
You could be a radio show producer.
It takes being charming, I think, and having ideas that people are like, that's weird. I'd like to see that come to life.
In a Stephen King sort of way, I could enjoy that.
And I'm very lucky to have a close network of friends who are incredible collaborators, and I believe in them and their work, and they believe in me and mine, and we often come together wherever it is, whether it's New Jersey or California, New York, now Oregon. They'll come and help me, and then from there we source okay, what are our local resources now that we have this team of producers and big picture, how do we get a sound mixer from Coos County, Oregon? I don't know.
Yeah. There you go, right there. he's waving.
And it takes, I've done crowdfunding before. I'm not going that route this time. I'm just trying to keep it as low budget as possible. But also pulling in a lot of favors.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, we can get Mel to put on a show for you. She was known as Little Mel when she was 5 years old. She was the tap dancing sweetheart of the Potato Belt in Idaho.
It's true.
Wow.
No, that was Yakima, Washington.
Well, the whole Pacific Northwest.
So, when did you start doing all of this? Because you look very young and lovely.
I think I started college in 2009, which was when I started pursuing film, and I've been out of school for a little over 10 years, so I've been doing it for 10 years.
What brought you to Bandon?
It's nice.
Oh, I like it.
She listened to Rick from Scotland last week. That's nice.
My husband and I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, and during the pandemic, we just wanted an escape, and we actually rented a cabin in Florence, not having ever been to the Oregon coast before, to work remotely from and quote-unquote wait out the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And long story short, we kind of never went back to LA.
What a great choice.
Yeah. And we ended up in Bandon, not knowing much about Bandon, but we...
Well, we're thrilled you're here. We're glad you made that choice.
How did you get with the Oregon Cultural Association? Isn't that what your funding or some is coming from?
No.
How do I get in touch with them?
See that man right there? That's who you want to talk to, right? At the Visitor and Information Center. He's the conduit right there.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now, tell me about the writing process. Is it just like a creative blast where you get an idea and you sit down and you write all night until you get that script done? Or is it sometimes more like pulling teeth where you're trying to bring an idea together?
It's a little bit of both. This latest project I'm working on was kind of like a brain blast, and I just sat down and wrote it. Mm-hmm. But other things have been pulling teeth. I'll get an idea, and it'll be physical pain to sit down and get out pages. But I like to give myself deadlines and be like, okay, 15 pages a week, something to make myself hit targets.
Yeah, just to move and get through the project.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now your new project, it's forming up right now as we sit here.
That's
it's all
right.
kind of coalescing, and you're going to be doing auditions, I understand?
That's right. I'm hosting auditions at the Sprague in Bandon next Thursday, September 5th, from noon to 6 p.m. I think I've already filled up the slots from noon to 1. So if you are interested, I'm in particular auditioning the part for His Name is the Man. So if you are one of those, you should consider auditioning.
What is he like?
It's nice that we've decided that we want a man for this role and we want a woman for this role.
Well,
Makes it so much simpler.
What kind of man is he?
He's interested in buying a boat. He's from Coos County. I imagine he himself is a bit of a country fella and maybe a retired fisherman, but he's also a pretty straightforward guy who doesn't like anything out of the ordinary, and things that are out of the ordinary make him mad. So...
Sounds like Fred Messerle.
Yeah, I know. That's true. I think we've got a role for him.
Do you want me to call Sam Elliott? He's just up the road.
Just up the road.
Just up the road a little bit.
Right,
We could tie. He'd be perfect. He's kind of a little
Sounds
crusty.
Good.
Okay.
No, that's great. Now, how do people get in touch with you to audition?
You can email me, and my email address is oliviaaccardo@gmail.com. And my last name is spelled ACCARDO. So oliviaaccardo@gmail.com.
Oh, what fun. And now we can say, when we see you accept your Academy Award, we can say, she was on Hooked on Oregon back in the day.
How exciting.
Too exciting. Yes.
Yeah, then next time we're going to have to pay her to be on the show.
That's true. Yeah. No, it's really fun that you got a project. And you're going to film it down in Bandit?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And down the marina?
I think we're just shooting it in a parking lot in Bandon.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
What fun. Well, you can hang with us for a little bit, right?
Cool.
You're trapped. We'll lock the door. All right, we're having a great time. We're with Olivia Accardo, film director, producer, writer. Oh, my gosh, the list goes on. And we're going to be right back with lots more Hooked on Oregon.
And now, back to Hooked on Oregon with your hosts, Cam Parry and Mark Mattecheck.
Well, we're back with Hooked on Oregon, and we're having a great time. We are here with the wonderful Olivia Accardo. She's a director, writer, film producer, filmmaker. I mean, the list goes on. Working with actors. Now, what was that like when you brought actors into the picture? I mean, I think my favorite line is from the producers, and Zero Mostel, and Gene Wilder goes to him, "You can't kill the actors." And he goes, "Actors? Have you ever eaten with one?" So what is it like to bring that human component into your script?
I've been very lucky, and I think I've worked with a lot of very strong actors. It's pretty surreal, when you write something and you're just kind of in your little writing hole in your brain, mm-hmm. and then sending out the script and having people read it out loud. It's pretty surreal, because otherwise it just kind of exists as thoughts.
Sure,
sort
right,
of.
Yeah.
And even today I had a couple of people send me video auditions for the short I'm working on now, and that was the first time I saw some of the parts performed, and it's fun, and also I really enjoy collaborating with people I trust, mm-hmm. So it's fun to see what somebody brings to it. They might have a spin on it that I never thought.
That's totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta be. What's your favorite part of the whole process?
I do really like pre-production a lot. I like just the excitement that comes with, and we can get this person and that person, and we could get these props, and what if we got that location? And also the rewrites that come with it as you get different ideas or realize that location's not available or whatever. And it's kind of it's stressful, but also you feel very hopeful.
Yeah, Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. Get my uncle's barn and put on a show. No, that would be fun, because you're just driving the excitement to where you can get to doing the filming.
Yeah. And obviously I like production as well, and directing is really, it's just, you're playing pretend. Mm-hmm. It's big kid pretend,
Well, in a wonderful way, yeah. Now, short film, that's kind of your niche, and you really love doing it. Do you have your eye on longer format down the road?
Yeah. I have two projects that I have written, and I've been trying to shop it around to investors for the past 2 years. And another one that I'm writing now that I hope to shoot here in Bandon. So I'm kind of trying to I'm using Baby Tooth, my current short, mm-hmm. As kind of a dry run of what is casting like out here? What are the
Sure.
theater communities like? What are the local resources that I can pull from? How is it received? Do people like this? Do they hate it? Mm-hmm. In anticipation of hopefully doing something a lot bigger.
How fun. Yeah, and there are some really talented people tucked away in the woods.
There really
here.
are.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Not incarcerated, and who actually can pull it off. But you would audition. You'd be great.
Oh, yeah. I'll get right on that.
You've got to do that.
With my spare time.
Give everybody your contact again so they know how to audition for your upcoming project.
Okay, yeah. If you're interested in auditioning for my short called Baby Tooth, you can reach out to me at my email address, which is olivia.r.accardo@gmail.com. olivia.r.accardo@gmail.com.
Yeah, and just auditioning, I think, would be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
I think people would love that.
Yeah,
That'd be part of it.
And I think if if when they're auditioning and stuff, if you want to donate to the project and stuff for like $5,000 or $10,000, that might help you get
Grease
the
his
part.
kids, just a little bit,
And she would be okay with some funding. It's a self-funded project, so if there's some people out there,
94-year-old woman could come in with a $20,000 check and play the part of the man.
Yes, flexible. We can do a rewrite on that.
Yes.
So.
She's looking.
I'm looking here. Come on, guys.
Oh my gosh! No, it's wonderful, and we are so pleased that you came in to do the show with us, and we hope you hang with us here through
Thanks
the
so
show.
much for having me.
Yeah, you've checked off a bucket list. You know never to do radio again.
I have not. Yeah.
So we've got a special guest, and we were telling you about him. We're saying, he's just the ultimate character, and of course that is Handsome Josh at England Marine. How are you? You want to audition for a movie?
Boy, last time I auditioned for a movie, I got cast in this one called The Goonies, and they made me keep yelling, "Hey, you guys," and "Baby Ruth." It was super embarrassing.
But it's immortal. It's immortal.
I'll tell you. Now I got kids running and go, "Baby Ruth." It hurts the guy's feelings a little bit, you know what I mean?
Well, you got another shot at immortality here coming up.
The problem is if I got on the silver screen again, I would have even more trouble keeping the ladies off me.
Oh, I see. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Josh, please.
They would be swooning.
They would. Yes, our own Clark Gable. Yes, Handsome Josh. Hey,
Oh, no.